Assalamu alaikum viewers, my name is Asma Education Wali from Islamabad. Today I have a very interesting guest and a truly dedicated individual. Thank you so much sir for your precious time and let's start our show today. And today our guest is Dr. TPS and he's from Hyderabad, India, Hyderabad. So sir, please introduce yourself to my audience.
Thank you, Asma. I consider it as a great privilege. Though there were many times from Pakistan, Karachi, Islamabad, and different places, people interviewed me. And I get a lot of invitations, but generally, what I do is I post my signature introduction link to most of the places. But I'm so glad that Asma came back very fast for a message, and I consider it as a great privilege to discuss somebody who has got some interest in understanding education, understanding my activities. I'm basically a scientist in Space Department. Space Department is ISRO of Government of India. I was 20 years with the Government of India. One of the most famous personality in India is Kalam, who was the President of India once upon a time. He was in the Space Department. Then after 18 years, I moved to Prime Minister's office. When Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, I was in the Prime Minister's office. In between, because of my interest in academics, I was also Director for Academic Staff College. Academic Staff College is the highest education entity which trains the professors and senior teachers and new teachers in the university setup in India. So I was one of the director in one of the center in India. I am from South India, though I am staying in Hyderabad in the almost the central south of India. I am hailing from the western South India, which is called Kerala. Kerala is a small state in India. I come from there, but I keep traveling throughout India. Tomorrow I am there in Punjab, the next neighboring state for Pakistan. I've got a teachers training program, so I keep traveling throughout India. Now the profession is training teachers, changing new academics in India. We have a new education policy, but may not get implemented because government policy doesn't work when people are not ready. So I am doing a social service of creating that implementable in every part of India. So I travel pan India, serving people, serving teachers into academics. As my name is TPS, I am teachers, parents, students representative.
Yeah. Mashallah, great intro, sir. Sir, sorry, sir, Dr. TPS, you worked as a scientist in the Space Department from 2 decades. So, what inspired you to pursue this career, and how did your early experience shape your professional journey?
There is a small correction. It's not a professional journey because profession is when you get a job, when you work. So there are two aspects. I just told you while introducing, I am a social service person. If I say I'm a social worker, that means I'm getting salary. So I'm doing social service. I'm not a social worker. Okay. Asma, by name, Asma itself means supreme, right, in Arabic. So everybody in this world wanted to get closer to Supreme. I'm sure if I'm Department of Space person, Asma will not contact me for this interview. Correct? So what you are doing other than what earns you money, gives you some salary, which becomes a professional job for you. When you do something like a service, people will look at you and then start recognizing you. So Department of Space, 20 years I worked. I am a pensioner. I get pension from Government of India. So I am happy enough because I am getting minimum amount for my living. My wife is a director for ISRO, and my sons both are settled in different country. One is in Ireland, Dublin, and one is in America. So then I thought I should spend the rest of my time in serving people. There are different methods of serving. One is maybe you can do business, you can be in politics. I thought academics is my most passionate thing, which gives me happiness, which I can see glow in the eyes of children. And being in academics, like an academic staff college director, studying different programs in different universities, having into interest in reading different subjects like management, law. I studied mathematics, I did physics, or maybe fluid mechanics is my research. I understood we lack good teachers, the teachers who can really impact the life of people. That is why I thought I must spend rest of my time in going around and shaping not my profession. The question was shaping my profession. No, it's not my profession. Shaping the profession of many people who wanted to become great in this world. So that's what I'm doing, Asma.
It's amazing, sir, that what you are doing. My next question is from you that after serving as a director at the academic staff college and deputy director at the Directorate General of Secretary, what motivated you to transition from a prestigious government position to academia and youth monitoring?
Uh, Youth mentoring. Mentoring is actually taking care of children for shaping them, getting them into good either. There are a lot of potential people. See, I'm from a small village where electricity came when I was doing my masters, telephone came when I was doing my PhD. So until education time, up to college time, I was studying in kerosene lab. So I am not from a very big city like Islamabad or maybe the Hyderabad today where I am living. Even my village today is a small village where not much of development happened. People are into agriculture. We don't have great officers. So I know 80 percentage or 90 percentage of India is in such a background. So having worked in the supreme topmost office in India, from such a place, I want to tell the students and the youth in this country, if you decide, you can make wonders. I studied up to 10th class in my mother tongue medium. That's in Malayalam. Malayalam is the language which we speak. And from that Malayalam medium, today I am able to write books, I am able to write poems, I am able to reach up to the world. I teach teachers in UK, Philippines, London, America. I went and stayed, taught children who took birth in America for admissions for colleges like SAT exam. How is it possible? If I can show as an example, I'm sure being in government one day I will die, that doesn't go as a message to the public. So I decided the best method is to get into academics and parallelly do something, because academics not like government job. When I'm in Prime Minister's office in Space Department, I'm fully occupied. I don't get free time. Though Saturday, Sunday, holidays I used to spend for social service, I thought a time came there is much demand. For last 24 years, not even a single day I'm free. Every day I'm into some activity, so many interviews, so many classes, not even a single day. You can look at my YouTube. Every day there is at least an average 2 hours of uploads. I process myself, I edit that, look at it, correct that. Every day there are some students coming in, they wanted to learn something. Yesterday there was an engineering college student. 4 o'clock it will come. I processed it today and then I post it. So 4 o'clock it is going to come. So she want to know what to do to get into the highest job. So I found I can work into getting children into administration of India, which is called IAS, the topmost administrative service in India. So I started a destination IAS program, a mission CSAT examination orientation. I did a CSR by a rich man's project. I picked up young children who are from a very remote village, there no hope in life. I picked them up and then started teaching them when they were in 8th class, 8th grade. Now they are into internationally well-known educational institutions. So I think that was where I decided I must jump full-time into academic social service. I worked as executive director of an engineering college. I was an MBA professor. I was a mathematics professor. I taught many subjects in engineering college and universities. Now I am a professor of practices in one of the university. He has got largest branches in India, which is called ICFI. So in the chartered accounts financial services has got a large number of institutions like university. I am a professor of practices. That designation came to me because I have spent nearly 20 years in full time into social service, into academics, right? So I can go to any part of India and then start find a place where I can teach children, I mentor children. So officially also I have got a capacity with the university, but personally I am doing it for last 20 years. Most of my students, the best university in the world is like MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. There are children after graduation, you have to do a post graduation, then PhD. But people have been selected directly for PhD because of the high merit they had. So I proved myself, I can mentor, I can make my children to make their image, make their identity, create great personalities out of, probably they all have got some potential, but they are not exposed to the availability of resources, availability of avenues. They are not directly taught properly. So I'm doing it. See, yesterday I gave a recommendation letter to somebody who is in Germany, Max Planck Institute. Max Planck is the world's best institute where 38 Nobel prizes were given from that university. So reaching children to the highest institute is one of my aim. That's what I'm doing now. Yes.
Mashallah, sir, you are doing very dedicated from very early childhood age. You have a Shiksha holiday program, I think, in Hyderabad. Am I right?
Yeah.
So, your Shiksha holiday program in Hyderabad attracted many engineering students and MNC professionals. What was the inspiration behind this program and how did it impact its participants?
See, I told you I was with the engineering college as management professor. I was teaching different engineering branches. I was also teaching in some other colleges here for BBA program. Like you are a student of BBA, business management. I was teaching graduate children. I found most of them lack social skill, communication skill, understanding the subject. So what I did was I asked them all holidays. There can be public holidays. There can be protest, there can be bandh due to political reasons. I told all of them, don't waste your time at home during holidays, and what you can do is you can come to my house. I've got a huge library, not the house where I'm staying now. I've got another house 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers away from here. I've got a huge library that is dedicated for holiday programs. Anybody can come read books. My kitchen is free for them. My wallet is free for them. They can take money, go to market, buy whatever they want, cook and eat together. So it's like a place for them, like a home away from their home, where a lot of education happens. But another program is there, which is much bigger, which is my hometown in Kerala, my small village where I started my life. I took birth there. That house is almost 200 years old. It's a huge house. 50 children can stay in my house. I conduct a program called JNAANAM. JNAANAM in Sanskrit, Sanskritam, the traditional old language in the world. Sanskritam, Sanskrit, it means knowledge. So my house name itself is knowledge. And you can see JNAANAM, JNAANAM, JNAANAM DrTPS. You will see a lot of videos there. So what happens there? There a lot of activity happens where people learn life. So it's a life learning workshop. 10 days people come from Gulf and stay with me. I go to Gulf countries for giving lectures. I tell them you can come home and then stay with me for 10 days. Many people from different countries, nearly 40 countries, people came and stayed with me. 2,000 people came. A lot of camps happened. So now tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I'm going there. I go to Ludhiana in Punjab, then come back to Hyderabad. Next day, 29th, I am going to Kerala again. I'll be in that house for 3-4 days. So basically, why am I doing it? What impact the participants? They are getting a lot of knowledge in different areas of the world. I don't restrict. It's like beyond syllabus, after school programs, or you can call many names. That experience made me to create a new education which is called the Grandma Childcare Shiksha Gurukulam. From age 3 onwards, how children can, how teachers can, how students in different educational levels can come together, live like a family, wherein they can impact the society. So basically, I enjoy learning and teaching, and I believe my students are my children, so they can come and stay with me ask a lot of questions, entertain them with a lot of programs. That's why it's called a holiday program. So it is not very serious academics. But 10 days when then they stay, they learn quite a lot. So it's not education, it's education from entertainment. We have drama, dance, music, a lot of rain dance. We get into rain, get drudge ourselves. Now this time is June, July in Kerala. May, June, July. Earlier it was June, July. Now May, June, July months it is heavy rain. Heavy rain means really a downpour. It will be flooding all the areas. So I want children to enjoy such rain also. So make children very close to the nature. That is what I am doing. I do people take it into fort, go to the classes can be in the fort, classes can be in the museum, classes can be in an ashram, classes can be in a temple, classes can also be in a village where we do social service to the village people. And the classes are sometime in the train. We ask children come to the railway station, get in the train, let us travel, and while traveling we learn a lot. So it is not a classroom study, it's like a holiday program. That's why the name holiday program came. And Shiksha is also actually my name. If you SHI, SHK, SHA, that SHA you take it and put it before that, it will become SHA, SHI. That is also my name, Shashikumar. Right. And Nanam is my house name, where it is Janaki is my mother's name, Narayan is my father's name. So the expansion is Janaki, Narayan and mentoring. So I relate all what I do along with my life, and therefore I'm enjoying. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. Wonderful question, Asma. I'm so happy.
I said you are. That's I was very inspired from your personality. As you believe teachers are the shape for tomorrow's citizen, what are the most critical components of effective and effective teaching, and how you incorporate these into your teachers training sessions?
I am so happy that Asma has done a lot of research and then found out what am I doing. When see this word teachers shape tomorrow's citizen. So that means students are not today's citizen, right? But I believe every student, including Asma, is a citizen. What is the difference between citizen and an individual? When I took birth, I am an individual. So up to 3 years, I am an individual because every focus is on me. My parents look after me. But I think I socially start interacting with the people. Socially, I am getting involved in the society, knowing about my people, my country, my life, around my life, how is my neighbor's life. Knowing this makes us a social being. Knowing this makes us a human being. That is why we are called a social being and a human being. The time you are a social being and a human being, I don't call Asma as an individual. Asma is a global citizen now. Not even a Pakistani citizen. Because you wanted to know how a scientist from India is doing. I rarely see somebody from, you cannot see, you look at my Pakistan DrTPS type in, you will see a lot of interviews with the Pakistani students like you who are involved in academics who wanted to learn what DrTPS is doing. But hardly I see somebody in India who is interviewing like me. So I really salute you. I really wanted to tell that Pakistan is a great country. I keep talking about Pakistan in my classes, saying that Pakistan people are more happy than Indian people today. Otherwise, people like you will not interview me. I have not seen an Indian interviewing a Pakistani celebrity or some specialist and then putting it. I am not talking about great personalities. I am not a great charismatic person in India. I am a small common person, and you looked for my biodata, looked at it, and I am sure that's all because of your mentor who is asking you to do this, right? The Rahman is a great, I'm sure he is doing a lot of people, and under him, I am not able to do it that in India. So what is lacking in education today is the basic quality which Asma has. We don't have, Indian students don't have this. They lack communication. They don't respond. Responding is when I see somebody, I wanted to talk to him, realize when I talk to you, you are nodding like this, and you are giving after I give an answer, you are appreciating it. Very hardly we see teachers who are all great teachers in university, they don't have this quality. So the concern is not there, the social commitment is not there, the humanness is not there. So that is what is lacking in today's. Rahan is able to mentor all of you, right? But we don't have. I am not able to do it. So what I am looking for is at least if I can change few teachers. That is why I go to different part of India to train teachers. Most of my students are teachers today. I have reached up to 1 million teachers, 1 million students, 1 million parents. What am I doing? I want to make children to enjoy. Today, every children is worried about exam. They are worried about passing certificates. I believe these are not important. That is okay to get into higher education, academics, to get an admission, you need a certificate. But to live a life which is like a citizen, understanding my society, the ability to speak, you can do business. So I wrote a blog which is long back, maybe 20 years back. I wrote a blog which is called 30 points to students, 20 points to parents and teachers. ASMA should look at it, where I am saying examination has to be celebration. Oh, I am getting an examination. Now today, actually ASMA is doing an interview. I love to give you a certificate that ASMA is a great communicator, and I am very glad. I am going to give you that. You send me your picture and your name, where you have to get that certificate, in what name it should come. I have got a program called the World Social Craft Foundation, in which I work with Korea, I work with the Philippines, I work with Africa. I got a program called MUD, Music Under Difference. In many people, including Pakistan people, participated. I do a lot of activities. It's not a great certificate, but at least you will feel that, you know, one Indian gave you a certificate under the World Craft Foundation from SHIKSHA. It will come from different, including a University of America's, Yoga University of America's emblem also will be there. I'm going to give you that because I have not given to anybody in Pakistan so far. I wanted to give you because I started thinking that I must recognize people. Recognition by certificate is essential, but not with some examination which is scheduled by some time, by the initiative like what you have today. When somebody is giving a lecture, you have taken note. That is why you are able to prepare questions. Correct? So looking at video, looking at the internet, people are able to take notes. You are a great student. So I want that sort of a character to come into students. Tomorrow, 200 kilometers away from Hyderabad where I am staying, I am going to inaugurate a school. I am going to tell this experience of discussing with somebody from Pakistan, asking me questions, and the answer which I just gave you, I am going to tell the same thing to the parents and students and teachers there. It is lacking. That is the reason I thought I must go to schools, I must go to colleges, I must talk to children, saying that my teachers' training programs are creating tomorrow's citizens. No, creating today's citizens much stronger, because every children, when they have the social feeling by academics, up to 7th class syllabus in whole education is to make students from the individual to a citizen. That is why you learn up to 7th class about Pakistan, you have in your syllabus. You learn about the people who are serving Pakistan. All that will be finished by 7th class. 8th class onwards, it is abstract science. The abstract science is to create life earning mechanism, to get a job. So anybody who is up to 7th class, past 8th class, are leaders themselves. Up to 7th class, you may not be a leader. You are learning to be a leader. But I am not seeing children with a leadership skill after 8 years, after 8th class. That is what I am aiming to. That is what my focus of training teachers. They learn maths, physics, chemistry is not a great thing. I am a mathematician. But I am more a mathematician than probably I must be called as I am a social. Therefore, all my books, all my writings are with the LIFE, life. Live in full enjoyment. Learn in full enjoyment. Learning is an investment for future earning. So I live in a life and I want people to learn what life is, because they have not learned up to 7th class. I want teachers to make them to learn what life means. Okay, so I want to give ASMA a certificate which says that a life communicator probably. Yeah. Thank you.
It's a lot for me, sir, and your appreciation is a lot for me. As I notice here that you are emphasizing maintaining a balance among physical, emotional, intellectual, and social aspects of life. So, how do you personally achieve this balance, and how do you promote it among your students too?
Yeah, see, we have got different names for teachers. Adhyapak, Hindi name hai. Maybe later in India, normally you must have heard the name Guru. But above that is called Acharya. Acharya means who is a practitioner. I cannot talk about the people have to have sufficient balanced food so that they become so strong when I myself is a sick person. Assume I can see I cannot talk about the breathing practices when I have got a asthmatic problem. No, like I have got a breathing problem. I cannot talk about maintaining the skin when my skin itself is not really good. I cannot talk about cleaning the teeth when my teeth is not cleaned properly, right? So I believe personally your question is very, very, very specific and very, very good question. Personally achieve this, and how do you see? What a great question is that. And I'm not just telling you to tell you that you are a good girl. No, I am saying I'm reading what you really wrote, and I'm seeing the clarity in your questions. Right? How do you personally achieve? I'm a person, you give me any subject, I'm able to learn. I am not a student of biotechnology, but I have taught biotechnology. I'm not a student of engineering, but you can listen what I taught in engineering yesterday. You look at electrical, mechanical, civil, physics, maths, chemistry, English, Hindi, my subjects, my different languages, different subjects I teach because my brain is sharp. I'm able to remember things. So intellectually you have to be sharp. How do you become intellectually sharp? By practicing. So I believe our brain is like an elastic. The more you stretch it, it has got elasticity. If you don't use it and keep it in a corner, after some time when you stretch it, it will break. See, this is a wallet which I keep, and in that I have got some small chits papers. These are all quotations and slokas, verses, and what I learned when I have got some free time. This will be there with me all the time. So I keep learning every moment. There is a kahavat. The kahavat is when there is a quotation or kahavat, the popular saying, which says, Yavat jivesa sukham jivet. We have only one life. How do you live this? Yavat jivet sukham jivet. My life is only one. I have to live it very happily. The Charvaka said, and again Chanakya also said the same thing. We have one life. How do you enjoy it? Assume that you don't enjoy your studies. Why are you studying? We want the people who don't study also to work in this world, right? So intellect has to be used perfectly. Don't take it as a big pain of study. Enjoy studies. So emotionally, you must be happy. And socially, you must be active. I have a responsibility. There is a saying, when I am feeling comfortable, uncomfortable, I don't study. But when I am totally comfortable, I don't have to study also. So when I am totally comfortable, what should I do? I must see those people who are not comfortable around me, make them to feel comfortable. So that is my social responsibility. Giving my time for somebody else is my social responsibility. And spiritually higher because I have been blessed with a lot of great masters who are all spiritually higher. Probably great personalities in India who were with me to teach what they learned in the whole life, what they learned from the scriptures of traditional Indian knowledge. And I am having that wisdom, and I thought that I must share it to somebody else. So that is what I do to the youngsters. I am looking for great students anywhere in part of the world, and where I can teach what is life. So what do I teach? I teach LIFE. I may teach mathematics because that is the way you have to earn your money. I may teach maybe some subject because they have to get a job in that. But ultimately what I am teaching is LIFE. Physically strong, emotionally controlled, intellectually sharp, socially active, spiritually knowledgeable. Therefore, you can play your role in the society, in the family, in your profession perfectly well. and you achieve a goal which is at the highest level. Don't balance saying that no, this is good enough for me. No, I want Asma to go to the international best world professional places and then get the best degree in your life. Where what is available, you can search and find out. Do as many courses as possible. The COVID has taught us how to become active on internet. There are a lot of edX, Coursera programs available. International students anywhere in the world, if you have got an internet connection, you can become a student of the world's best universities without even payment. It's all freely available. So I believe I must tell children to promote themselves to get into their life. So I am not promoting them. I am not promoting my strategy because my life is almost over. But I want the next generation to understand what I missed in my life, which probably I could have made much better in my life, but I have done reasonably well. And I am able to take this as an example to tell you that from this background I reached here, you can reach with all the facilities around to much higher and better places. This is what I am doing. Okay. This is how I promote my students. The question is very beautiful question. How do I promote? Yeah.
Yes, sir. I must say best that this world needs teachers like you and your like our mentor Rehan Bhai. You both are amazing, and mashallah, I am really impressed from both of your lives, and both of you are doing excellent. And my next question is from you that you integrate scientific analysis with your spiritual teachings in your public talks and lectures. How do you achieve this integration and what impact does it have on your audience?
See, what we call the traditional old scriptures in India, like Ramayana, Mahabharata, these are all the oldest of the oldest textbook in the world. How many years old? Thousands and 10,000 years old. The first book in the world is Ramayana. Much before that is Veda, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda. In English, these literature is called mythology. You must have heard of this word mythology or mythology, right? Mythological scriptures, mythological textbooks. What is mythology means? Myth means belief, faith. So religion is a faith. That is a myth actually. We cannot show that practically. What is science? Ology is science. So what you believe need to be proved by yourself. Suppose somebody says, oh, I didn't have my coffee today morning, I didn't have my chai today morning, tea did not get me tea, I am feeling headache. Tell me, is there a science to tell that no, if tea doesn't go to my body, I will get headache, I will not get headache? There is no proof. Actually, you cannot prove. You love your mother, you love your father. Can you prove this? You love your mother, can you show this? But you know, you experience. There are two types of knowledge. One is experimentable, another one is experienceable. So when I say, if somebody asks me what is this, I will say, I know this is a pen. How do you know this is a pen? This looks like a pen. Now what do? You start writing it and then see, oh, it is writing, therefore it is a pen. So first I believe that is a pen, then only I will start using it to test. So first belief and faith, then test it. So if you ask me today, do you have spiritual teachings going along with the science? Actually, it is not along with the science. Where you have not experimented, that becomes spiritual. Where you have experimented, that becomes science. Not me, somebody else experimented. But somebody did not experiment, that doesn't mean it is not there. It is there. I love somebody. How do I show that I love somebody? I can only gift something. I can only tell that no, you are a good girl, you are a good boy. How can I show my anger? I can use some words. But somebody say that in your heart, actually you don't like, but you are telling that it is like this. How do I show my heart now? How do I show my manas? How do I man kaise dikha sakte mujhe? Nahi dikha sakte na. But you believe from what I show. So what is showing is scientific. What is inside me which you cannot see is spiritual. My life you cannot see. Only when I am killed you say that life is not there. When somebody is pitching here, I get a pain here. Somebody beats here, I get a pain here. How can I show I am getting pain here? It's a feeling. The feeling is inside me. So every cell in my body has got a Science understand is only cell, DNA pattern, microbiology, nanotechnology, all that. But the pain cannot be understood. That is what is called consciousness. The consciousness is understood by philosophical terminology, which is actually the spiritual teaching. I have a consciousness, you have a consciousness, our harmony is good. When you ask me questions, you understand. When I answer, you are able to capture it because we are spiritual being. A dog cannot understand, a bird cannot understand, a ant cannot understand because they are not spiritual being. The spirituality is something which they also hear. They also have feeling. They also have intellectual. They also have body. They have a social life, but they don't have this mechanism of learning, using it, going from a normal level of normal animal to a higher animal. So human beings are spiritually higher, which science cannot explain. That is what makes us human beings, social beings, spiritual beings. So I want everyone in this world to become a spiritual being who goes beyond religion. Religion is only joining together. Just because you are in Pakistan, you belong to one specific caste, you have a very specific style of living. I am in a different world from a different background. I have a specific way of living. What connects both of us is spirituality. Right? So I love all the spiritual beings. So DrTPS is not a spiritual person. If I don't have that connection between all the religions, if I have connection with all the religions, I am not a religious person, I am a spiritual person. So that is why I am so glad, so carefully you asked that question. The spiritual teachings. I am not a religious person, I am a spiritual teaching person. So I take all my students, irrespective of which place they belong to, which religion they belong to, which language they speak, I consider all of them are spiritual beings. So my lecture is for a public lecture, the public talk which you mentioned, a public lecture for all the spiritual being with a scientific thought and analysis inside my brain, and my heart is full of loving everybody, and my spiritual is the center judge who tells me you should use your brain, you should use your heart, balance it together. So spiritual is the being inside me. My life is a spiritual being. Got it? Yeah.
MashaAllah, you have a very amazing and interesting personality, and your life experience is a vast experience. Dr. TPS, your writing style is known for its simple theory and of introspection, bringing out hidden thoughts in readers. So, can you please explain how you achieve this and the impact you hope it has your diverse audience from teens to spiritually awakened individuals?
See, now ASMA asking a lot of great questions, right? So I am able to answer it. If ASMA doesn't have good questions, how do I answer it? So my latest book is The Gita Way, which is actually a great book. Like your Quran for you is Bhagavad Gita for India. All Hindu people believe the Gita. The Gita is the Bhagavad Gita. What I did is the Bhagavad Gita as a small child from America, not a small child, a teenager from America, is asking a lot of questions to me and I am answering. So this book is like a dialogue. This book is like a discussion between me and Asma, written as a dialogue. I don't think anybody in this world have written a book on Bhagavad Gita like a discussion. Actually, original textbook Bhagavad Gita itself is a discussion. What people have done is they have written a lot of paragraphs, a lot of stories around it. What I am doing is I am connecting to the modern world, so that the children will understand, the youth can understand. They don't read the original text of Sanskrit. The language is not known to most of the people. So I do this writing in the English. Most of my books are in English, not in my mother tongue also. And I write in such a fashion, people take it as their own experience. So I am sharing my experience. Not only, if Asma wanted to write a book with me, we will start sharing the knowledge, we will start writing a book together. Okay, recently I wrote a book along with one of the author from Baku, Azerbaijan. That book is called Mindset Mastery. I have not seen the author so far. It's only Only online we had interaction together. I wrote some part, she wrote some other part. She's a professor of academics and education with a psychological background. And recently other book is Mind Matters. That's another psychological book. This is how to guide your teenage people. This is how to guide people from age 3 to grade 7 for young children. What I did is I told you about an education system where we need a great change. So what I did, these are all for different level. One is for a teenager where it is like a discussion, the old scripture. The other one is a psychological impact for young children and their parents. Because young children, I cannot ask a third grade or age 3 children to read the book. But I want their parents and teachers to read. So it is written to accommodate them. I believe I have to write books for different people at different levels. Now when I said I want age 3 children not put in one class, another, you are also a teacher, you know how the school runs. What happens generally, children will sit in the class and they will be seeing and the teachers are standing. When teachers stand, what portion of your body the students are seeing throughout the class? Actually, it is not the way to make your classroom. Have you seen a grandmother, grandfather, when they wanted to talk to children, they will sit on the ground and children will stand. Actually, I believe all classrooms should change. The teacher should sit and students should stand and run away, running around them, playing around them. Don't make them to sit. Keep quiet should not be the word. Let them shout, let them make noise. And don't put a age 3 student separate, age 4 separate, age 5 separate like nursery, LKG, UKG, grade 1, grade 2, kindergarten, all that old style. Because earlier when I was young, I had all my brothers and sisters in my house. So many people I could play with them. Now today we all became nuclear family. Only one child at home. We don't have company to interact. So I believe children have to be put in same class. Age 3 to grade 3. All children at different levels, same class. Teachers should start giving them lot of workshop, assignments, craft, art, music, etc. etc. Don't force them to write. They will show interest in writing naturally. So to train the teachers, I authored a book which is called A to Z of Early Childcare Education. And A to Z of Early Childcare Education, A to Z has got 26 chapters. A, B, C, D are chapter names. So this book is 4 books actually. All the 4 books starts with the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All these chapter names have expanded as ambitious, beginning, child's dream. Starting letter is the title for each of the chapter. And then H, I, J, K, L, M, N. And then you have got M, N, O, P, Q, R, S. And then T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So 26 chapters I wrote a book. This is actually guiding textbook for teachers training. So what am I doing now? I go around India, different places. I'm going to Calcutta next month, spend 3-4 days with them, train lot of teachers. This is a different style of teaching, different style of academics which I am planning to do it, which is called the Grandma Child Care Shiksha Gurukulam. Gurukulam means stay with the master in the house and then start learning. Though we cannot have like Gurukulam, we are trying to make some small portion of such a learning mechanism. Right. Now, this is another book which I wrote, being from the social media, when I had lot of interaction on, now we have got Facebook. Earlier there was one social media called Orkut. So me and my students, like people interacted, we started writing lot of messages. All those messages I dubbed and made a book. The first man to make a book out of social media interaction. Now tell me, most of the messages interaction which we have all are generally normal, casual, without any content. But here, any page when you read, you get lot of ideas. You can download these books. These are all on my website. In my website, it is there. Type DrTPS. You will reach my website. Go to my books. And if you don't get, my telephone number is here. You can send it to me. I will send you the PDF. And this is another book which is, all of them you can see, LIFE Life. This is also LIFE Life. So the life is what? Here, assume the first poetry in this book. This is a poem. So the first poem in this book is The Race for Birth. What is race for birth? You ask the question, spirituality and science. What is race for birth? before we took birth, millions of sperm from the father get into the mother's egg, and that is how we took birth. How many sperms went into mother's egg? Millions. How many took birth? Only me. Who is that? Me. So who failed? My unborn brothers and sisters. How did I took birth? By fighting, raising with them. You see what a great life is this. So I have a scientific thought where I can think differently and make my books entirely different from a normal writer who doesn't have a science background. So I'm a mix of science, mix of poetry, mix of films, mix of drama, mix of music, and that is what I do. This is a book on education, adaptive learning. How do you get adapted? Now we are very famous on internet, but this book I wrote it 17 years back. How to use internet for education. This is a book on academics. And along with Nasima. Nasima is one teacher who was a academician from my university, Calicut University, where I was a director. She was an academic head of the department. So together we wrote a book. So I'm sure nobody must have thought about such a day will come when people have to use internet for teaching. 17 years back I wrote a book on that. This is where I believe what is the society's requirement, what is that you want. Probably we have to think much earlier and then start reacting to that. And I believe today is a world where many people keep talking about 21st century education. Education has to be modified. I believe it is not 21st century education. Century means 100 years. I am not talking about the education for 100 years. I am sure ASMA would have seen education changed in last 10 years. So I believe we should talk about 10 years of education. We cannot talk about every year education change. At least 10 years can we talk about an education. Therefore, I believe we have to talk about third decade of 21st century education. So I am saying this world is 3-2-1 world. This world is 3-2-1 world. So I have written teachers teaching methodologies in the 3-2-1 world, where education is not from the textbook. Education has to be from internet. How did ASMA came to know about me? Because we are in the 3-2-1 world. We are able to connect each other because we are in the 3-2-1 world. We have 5G, we have industrial revolution, we have got a lot of economic change happening. The political things are changing very fast. The United Nations is thinking about the great changes in the world. The sustainable development growth, which I don't believe. I call it as what is called the Sanatana Dharma goals. The traditional Indian knowledge is SDG. Sanatana Dharma is what is called Hinduism. So I call it is Sanatana Dharma goal is what is SDG. So I look at everything in a different angle, make it presentable to the people who wanted to understand it differently. I'm sure this interview also made me to think because you asked me a lot of questions in a different style. So curious. A lady of curiosity from Pakistan, right, are able to connect me today because we are in the 3-2-1 world. Don't you think we have to use this maximum to get into? So I don't believe in writing books actually, but it is required for people to get in command because tomorrow YouTube can go, maybe computers can go, somebody can delete, somebody can do virus to all this, everything can be trapped by somebody else, they don't publicize it. Something has to stay. Therefore, I keep writing and print only very few number of books for my library and for people to gift. I am not selling books, actually I am gifting books. This is what I am doing, right? So we should have a method of transforming what knowledge we have, the style in which we write, get it to different people. Therefore, I write some books. Otherwise, you can see a lot of interviews, lot of discussions, lot of lectures. I believe all those what I do on these discussions sometimes trigger me, oh, I should also write a book on this. Therefore, my books are only a side portion which comes or maybe an offshoot from whatever discussions happens like this. All the lectures which I give, probably I have put them together and to make into a book. Right? So I listen to this once and again because I am editing myself to put it to the YouTube. So when I listen, I think, oh, I have to write a book on this topic. That's how I write. So I've got 2-3 ideas which I got from this discussion also. If time permits, I will write another book and tell you, thank you,
Nice.
Asma, for triggering me for this. In my book, in the second page, I keep
Oh
writing.
my.
In the second page, I keep writing, this is motivated by so and so
Wow.
person, like that I will write.
Amazing. Wow,
See,
you are amazing.
this is one book
So,
which I wrote, Life with Harmony in Heart. In the second page, I have written, this is, you can read this. Um, this is actually inspired by Queen Elizabeth from London, YYCI. I wrote in the second page because all those lectures which I gave is the content in that book. That's what I do. Thank you so much. Thank you so
amazing.
much.
Dr. TPS, your poems are said to mix emotional with a mature scientific and practical sense.
Yeah.
How do you blend these elements, and what message do you aim to convey through this unique combination
Yeah,
of poet, philosopher, and scientist?
this is what just now I explained with the first poetry of Race for Birth, right? Now, at the age of 42, when I first visited London, what I wrote is old traditional textbook we have learned about the Victorian history of Britain and all that. So what I wrote is a poetry which talks about a travelogue. The travelogue which talks about my Victorian celebration late visit. I should have got there much earlier, was my thought. I went to all the poets' houses where I have studied the poem during my childhood. I don't think somebody when travel they only see museums and see a lot of fun and all that. But what I do is whatever I learned in my childhood, I go there, understand where they lived, look at their houses, get some knowledge from that, and then make a poem out of it. So my Fiji travel is also a travelogue, right? So my memory in my childhood, death to memory. The titles are very very interesting. Season change, likewise moods also changes. The fearless schoolboy, that is my own life story. The opposition, the people who oppose each other. So the book's door to the world. When you read more, you can understand the world around. So all these are from rhythm of life. Again, you can see life. So what am I writing? I am writing the knowledge sharing experience which I had, my spiritual awakening which I had, my scientific background in mathematics, physics, chemistry, and science which I had. I'm a MS in psychotherapy and counseling. So I learned psychology, I understand biochemistry, the life science. The impact of all these comes into my poems. It is very natural. It is not that wantedly I do. All that comes simply, very naturally, very automatically, very casually, because poetry is a spontaneous overflow of thoughts. I don't cross my legs and sit and then say that today evening I will finish writing a poetry. Poetry doesn't happen like that. Books happens like that because some knowledge has to be shared. So I'm a blend of both. I write poems. I also write books, essays. I write scientific papers. So this is a mix of all them together. So that is how it's a combination of poets. And if you look at many of the philosophy departments in India, believe that Dr. TPS is a philosopher. There is a philosophy day. I am invited in Chandigarh, Punjab University. I was invited in the North Bengal University on the philosophy day. If you type philosophy Dr. TPS, you will see a lot of lectures. So every scientist, every mathematician, whichever subject you are into, whether you are in English, Arabic, or whichever language, mathematics, or whatever subject you are, ultimately what degree we get is Doctor of Philosophy. DR, the doctor says Doctor of Philosophy. Now you tell me, is philosophy is different from science? No. Philosophy is the ability to, whatever knowledge which I have got, to tell in such a fashion to make ASMA understand completely to maximum level. If I can answer all your questions where you feel satisfied, that ability in me is called philosophy. So philosophy is putting things, your emotions, your mind, your thoughts into a normal words which somebody else understand is called the ability of philosophy. That's why philosophers are people who can explain things perfectly. So I'm a philosopher of life. I'm a philosopher of science. I'm a philosopher of nature. I'm a philosopher of understanding of all this. So it's a combination of all of them together. You can talk about Tolstoy. He's not a just writer. He's a scientist. You can talk about Einstein. He's not a scientist. He's a philosopher. Got it? So I think every one of us, when we learn, when we understand, when we can make others to understand what I understood, we are all philosophers. So it's a natural process. Nothing great about me. It is common to everyone. Asma also should become a doctor and then doctor of your subject.
Inshallah, inshallah, sir. Thank you so much. And this session is very informative for me and for my audience as well. In last, I just want to ask from you that what message you want to share with my audience, because you are philosopher of life. So, what message you want to give my audience and me too?
I think the LIFE, life expansion, which I give, live in full enjoyment. You should enjoy. We should remember in life, Asma should remember, DrTPS should remember, we had 26th May 2024, the afternoon, we had a great discussion. How many such moments in life I can remember? That is my richness. Not the money which is in my bank, not my knowledge, not my status, not how many people will look at me and then say, very good, very good. How many moments are there in our life which we can remember and say that that was a great day? I don't know whether in my life I can see Asma or Asma can see me. Quite impossible. I'm sure we are not going to meet physically each other. Unless we go to London and meet, or maybe Dubai and meet. Asma cannot come to India, DrTPS cannot come to Pakistan. Unfortunately, that is our situation. Correct? Once upon a time, all this was Bharat. We are part of one country. That is what I belongs to. Correct? But we are not able to stay together. We are not able to meet together. If we can connect like this, is it not a great event in my life? What else is required? So every one of us, don't look what is our problem. We have a problem to connect each other, meet each other, but we are able to discuss each other, right? We are able to agree or disagree each other. Let us take that. We cannot change the world. I am not the president of India. You are not the prime minister of Pakistan. We cannot change the world, right? But can we change within that limit? Can I do better? Can I do something great? That is what is live in full enjoyment. It is not permanent enjoyment. This moment I am enjoying. Learn. If this has to continue for a long time, I'm sure if you don't learn about DrTPS, you cannot ask me questions. I cannot enjoy the questions if you have not learned. So learning in full enjoyment. Because learning is an investment for future earning. Tomorrow with this you can earn also. When you talk to a lot of people like this, you get a lot of knowledge. What is your credibility? I'm sure you can get admission in any American university or London university by quoting. I spoke to a lot of people like this because they consider this is actually knowledge. If you are an MBA student, if you are a management student, you are a business professional, you are a marketing person, you are a scientific temper is there in you, you have interest for learning and understanding things in around the world, any Western university will consider that as a great knowledge. This can be a great certificate. They will ask, what is that extra you have done other than academics? So I believe every student, every people who are listening to this must start having that interest. I am so happy. Once in Pakistan, somebody was interviewing me. When I asked his background, he is running a tailor shop in a small one room. That interview is also there in my interview list. In the playlist you can see one tailor who is stitching clothes talking to a scientist in India. What a great thing. So if he can talk, I am sure every people like Asma can talk, right? Generally the Facebook request I don't accept as it is, because I will send a message, I will send my signature and see whether they respond, because huge number of requests will come, whether they are casual, whether they are serious, I may not even know. So what do? I send a message and see whether they respond. And if they respond immediately, I will myself send a request back. That is what I have done to Asma. Correct? So don't take it for granted. Just because somebody rejected your request, don't become heart-failed. Send a message. Next, don't stop because somebody don't entertain you. You have passion. Keep looking at that passion for some more time. We all were like small children. When somebody gives something, we will go behind it. We don't leave it, we go behind it. As a child, we had that curiosity, we had that passion, we had that ability to go behind what we want. Don't leave that in life. Then you will become a successful person. I don't know whether I am eligible or maybe having that ability to advise everybody this is what people should get, but this is my experience which I'm sharing. Okay, thank you so much.
What a great message, sir, you shared. And this was a very informative session. And I thanks a lot from core of my heart that I learn a lot from you. And inshallah, in future, I will contact you and I will ask you question for my LIFE life. And I will, inshallah, ensure that I will contact you for more information. And I realize that I need help in any situation of life, inshallah, I will contact you. Thank you so much for this session,
Anytime
sir.
my prayer, my guru also taught me, don't make others to come to you for help. When asthma comes to me for help, that means asthma is helpless. I don't want asthma to become helpless. Come to me to update your success in your life. That is my prayer. Inshallah, I will be there as long as you
Thank
want. As long as you want, I will be with you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. It's so
Thank you so
great.
much.
It's so
Okay,
great.
sir, and so great and so thankful to you. And today, I hope my audience will learn a lot from this session. And it's a great pleasure to take your interview like this. And inshallah, we will meet for a new session and with a new guest. And for today, thank you so much, sir. For today, we are going to end this session. All of you, thank you so much, and Allah Hafiz.
Thank you. Khudafis.